Tonight, our first look at body cam video from the Miami Beach police the day they arrested MMA fighter Conor McGregor. Here's CBS 4's Ty Russell.
He doesn't have anything on him, right?
No,
Jewelry.
A woman who accused the mixed martial arts fighter Conor McGregor of raping her in a hotel in Dublin 6 years ago has won a civil case against him. The jury has found McGregor liable and ordered him to pay Nikita Hand €250,000 in damages.
Phone down the ground, stomped it in Miami.
Conor McGregor allegedly broke a phone that belonged to a man who wanted to take a picture with him.
Conor McGregor, he's just losing it right now. It feels like he's lost it.
Conor McGregor used to be that guy, the face of MMA, dripping with swagger, confidence, and raw fight energy. He wasn't just a champion. He made history as the first UFC fighter to ever hold 2 titles at the same time in different weight classes. He had the whole world watching every time he stepped in the octagon or grabbed a mic. The trash talk, iconic. The knockouts, brutal. The energy, unmatched. But fast forward to now, and that golden reputation, it's in shambles. What once screamed power now whispers scandal. McGregor's legacy is no longer about belts and victories. It's buried under a mountain of madness outside the cage.
You're in a pub and you're offering a f***ing shot to an old guy and he probably tells you your whiskey's shit. You don't punch him in the face.
He's got like $100 million in the bank. He still wants to fight people, still smacking people at bars.
That's not the Conor we knew. It hurts, honestly.
From that infamous moment, he launched a metal dolly through a bus window to punching strangers at bars and running his mouth with wild rants. The man's been spiraling deep into drama. And just when fans thought it couldn't get messier, boom, June 2025 hits, and he's slapped with another accusation, this time for allegedly assaulting someone inside a packed Ibiza nightclub. The headlines went nuclear, and the public's patience ran out. The question now isn't who can beat Conor in the ring. It's what happened to the man who once ruled it. We're about to break down how Conor McGregor burned the empire he built with his own hands. It's not just about wild headlines or legal drama. This is a man who torched his legacy in real time.
$25 million on the table for a tournament starting in March?
I could make 25 million champions out of that, bro. Do you get me? So I'm like, my rockin', bro. Things are going pretty well.
Things are going great. The White House, Dana White said, you and John Jones, that's a real deal.
Leaving even his most loyal fans feeling betrayed instead of just disappointed. This ain't your average fall from fame. It's a full-blown crash, fueled by ego, rage, and the pressure of staying on top when the spotlight turns scorching hot. Conor Anthony McGregor wasn't born with a silver spoon. He came up scrappy. Born July 14th, 1988, in the gritty streets of Dublin, Ireland, McGregor grew up in a working-class family where nothing came easy. But once he stepped foot in the Straight Blast gym, something clicked. This dude was electric.
Let's get the show started! The reigning, defending, 155-pound champion of the UFC, the notorious Conor McGregor!
Raw talent mixed with insane hunger. By 2008, he was tearing through the Cage Warriors like a wrecking ball, leaving knockouts and gas behind him, and then came the big leagues. By 2013, the UFC couldn't ignore him anymore. They signed him, and from there, madness. In his debut, he floored Marcus Brimage with a knockout that had jaws dropping. Then he lit up Dublin by crushing Diego Brando in front of his home crowd. But it was 2015 when he shocked the world. 13 seconds. That's all it took to silence Jose Aldo at UFC 194. One punch, one title, one legend born right there. Still, McGregor wasn't finished making history. In 2016, he destroyed Eddie Alvarez at UFC 205 and did what no one had done before. Became the first UFC fighter to hold 2 titles at once in different weight classes, featherweight and lightweight, both his, but it wasn't just the belts. With every win, McGregor built a myth, the notorious. Loud, rich, cocky, unstoppable. A symbol of everything fans love and haters fear. That legendary shout after McGregor annihilated Diego Brandon, it wasn't just hype, it became his war cry. A symbol of his unstoppable hunger and that wild, fearless energy he brought every time he stepped into the cage. His self-promotion game was unmatched. He didn't just sell fights, he sold moments. And when you mix that with a vicious knockout style, You get a superstar who shook the fight world to its core.
I've spent a lot of time, Joe, slating everybody in the company. Backstage, I'm starting fights off everybody. I've ridiculed everyone on the roster. I'd like to take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. The double champ does what the he wants. That's what I dreamed into reality. Oh, that looks good. That looks.
We're not here just to take part. We're here to take over.
By the time 2018 rolled around, McGregor went head-to-head with Khabib Nurmagomedov at UFC 229, and the numbers were insane. That showdown pulled in a jaw-dropping 2.4 million pay-per-view buys, smashing records and becoming the highest-grossing MMA event ever. No fighter had ever pulled attention like this. Then came the global domination. By 2021, his Instagram had exploded past 50 million followers. And Forbes, they named him the highest-paid athlete in the world, with a mind-blowing $180 million in the bank that year alone. At that point, McGregor wasn't just a fighter, he was a full-blown brand. The cars, the suits, the whiskey, the yachts, all of it became part of the myth. He was the dream personified, proof that if you talk big, hit hard, and believe harder, anything's possible. Fighters worshipped him. Fans cheered like crazy. But then the dream started cracking. After that rise to the top, every single thing McGregor did was under a microscope, inside the octagon and way beyond it. Fans couldn't get enough. They didn't just watch his fights, they watched him. The attitude, the style, the madness, it was addictive. But while the world was still cheering, they missed the warning signs. The cracks were already forming behind that loud, larger-than-life image. McGregor's downfall didn't happen overnight. Nah, it built up slowly but surely through a chain of reckless stunts outside the cage that started peeling back the polished fighter persona. And the moment everything really went left, April 2018, UFC 223. That's when Conor lost control completely. In a rage-fueled move aimed at rival Khabib Nurmagomedov, McGregor and his entourage stormed the Barclays Center and turned it into a war zone. They hurled trash cans, barricades, and even a heavy metal dolly right at a bus full of UFC fighters. It was straight-up chaos. Windows shattered, fighters were injured, and 2 bouts got canceled on the spot. What made it worse? It wasn't just a bad look, it was criminal. McGregor got arrested, and suddenly, that whole notorious brand felt less legendary and more unhinged. For fighters who trained for months and lost their shot because of his outburst, that wasn't just disrespect. It was a straight slap in the face. The fans were divided. Was this all a publicity stunt to build hype, or had McGregor crossed a line he couldn't come back from? This wasn't the sharp-tongued showman who played mind games. This was raw emotion, unchecked anger, and zero accountability. Then came a moment that hit like a sucker punch, literally. April 2019, McGregor found himself at the center of yet another firestorm. This time, he was caught on camera punching an elderly man at a Dublin bar. Over what? A petty disagreement about his whiskey brand? And the way it all went down? No octagon, no rules, just a cheap shot to the side of an older guy's head. That wasn't a fighter. That was street-level foolishness. When the video leaked, the backlash was immediate and brutal. Fans, fighters, and even his own supporters were stunned. McGregor had built his image on confidence and power. But this was cowardly. He tried to clean it up with a weak apology. I was wrong in that situation, I was just trying to stand up for myself. But that excuse landed with a thud. No one was buying it. Instead of damage control, McGregor did what he always did, flexed. He threw out Instagram posts flaunting cash, luxury cars, and his proper number. 12 whiskey like nothing happened. But people weren't fooled anymore. Social media exploded. Fans turned on him. Comments flooded in calling him arrogant, reckless, and straight up embarrassing. And the fallout didn't just hit his personal image. It rippled into his business world too. Sponsors side-eyed him. UFC bosses got nervous, and critics piled on. This was no longer just a few bad boy moments. The shine was wearing off and fast. What made it worse? He didn't pivot, he didn't show growth or remorse. He doubled down like controversy was part of the brand. If those early scandals were just cracks in McGregor's armor, what came next completely shattered it. His fight game, the very thing that made him a legend, started falling apart, and the chaos outside the cage only made it worse. The first major blow came at UFC 229 in 2018, when Khabib Nurmagomedov completely dominated him. McGregor didn't just lose, he got humbled. Forced to tap out after a total beatdown, his ego took a serious hit. But what made it worse? The lead up to the fight. McGregor crossed way too many lines, dropping offensive comments about Khabib's culture and religion. What should have been a battle of skills turned into a circus of disrespect. And when he lost, it wasn't just a fight. It was a whole collapse in front of millions. Then came UFC 264 in July 2021, the real breaking point. In a brutal rematch against Dustin Poirier, McGregor's leg snapped mid-fight. He was left crumpled on the canvas, clearly in pain, but still throwing verbal shots. Instead of showing an ounce of respect, he sat there lashing out, insulting Poirier, and even dragging his wife into it while live cameras captured everything. It wasn't just ugly, it was desperate. Fans were horrified. Even Joe Rogan, someone who's seen it all, called the moment classless and unworthy of a man who once ruled the sport. Even UFC boss Dana White couldn't sugarcoat it anymore. Conor's not that hungry fighter anymore. He's got everything. And maybe that's what killed his drive. That statement hit fans like a punch to the gut, and it only got worse from there. June 2025, the infamous AHA nightclub incident. A new video drops, and it's bad. Real bad. McGregor is seen full-on dropping a man with one wild punch inside the crowded club. The guy hit the floor instantly, and the clip exploded across the internet like wildfire. Comments poured in, dragging Conor as a thug, a menace to society, and even a national disgrace. So did McGregor try to clean it up with an apology? Not even close. Instead, he went right back to his usual playbook, flashing yachts, designer suits, and private jets on Instagram like nothing ever happened. Like millions of fans weren't out here watching him destroy everything he once stood for. This time, it wasn't just anger from the crowd, it was heartbreak. The same people who once screamed his name with pride were now left questioning who this man had become. The unstoppable warrior, the symbol of grit. That version of McGregor was fading fast, replaced by someone who seemed to care more about attention than honor. The consequences? Brutal. Fans are walking away in droves. Murals of McGregor in Dublin painted over. The social media love? Dead silent. He didn't just lose respect. He torched the trust of those who once believed he was different. How does a man go from, I didn't come to take part, I came to take over, to this? One theory keeps circling, and honestly, it hits hard. McGregor didn't just lose control, he got swallowed whole by his own persona. When you're not fighting just to win anymore, but to live up to the notorious brand, the loudmouth, the king of chaos, the larger-than-life alpha, suddenly, every move becomes part of the act. And that act, it starts to control you. The pressure to stay relevant, to always be the loudest in the room, mixed with hundreds of millions from whiskey sales, endorsement deals, and that billion-dollar Mayweather payday, that cocktail of fame and cash, it can mess with your head. Some say McGregor didn't just lose his grip on the sport, he lost his grip on reality. When every day is filled with luxury cars, diamond watches, and nonstop applause, what's left to chase? A lot of insiders, from fight analysts to former teammates, say the same thing. After 2016, something shifted. McGregor didn't have that same fire. The rivals that once lit him up were gone. And instead of a circle that kept him grounded, he was surrounded by yes men and hype merchants. No one was keeping him in check. No one was reminding him who he was before the fame. Now, to be clear, this is all theory. There's no smoking gun that fame definitely broke McGregor, but it makes sense, doesn't it? It fits the pattern, the rage, the reckless choices, the constant need to be seen. And here's the wild part. Even now, Conor McGregor could still bounce back. He could fight again. He could rake in more millions. He could flood timelines with more brash quotes and whiskey promos. But maybe the saddest part in all this, McGregor doesn't even seem to recognize the man staring back at him anymore. Back in the day, he was all about legacy, talking about putting Ireland on the map, inspiring underdogs, being remembered for more than just the money. Now, it's all filters, flexing, and feuds. Somewhere along the road, the fighter who used to walk into a press conference like it was a battlefield turned into someone chasing clout on Instagram, beefing with randoms in comment sections and throwing shade like he's still 25 and untouchable. And what's worse, the few people who do try to hold him accountable, they get iced out. Coaches, training partners, even longtime friends, all quietly pushed away. His circle's grown smaller, tighter, more controlled. The Conor who once trained like his life depended on it now moves like a brand that's just trying to protect itself, not grow. Even UFC insiders have admitted, behind the scenes, it's not the same anymore. There's no hunger in camp. No fire, just PR teams scrambling to cover the latest headlines, while the fighter himself seems detached, like he's playing a role he no longer believes in. There's still time. He's not done physically. But mentally, that's the real fight. And right now, he's losing it. And fans, they're not just angry, they're heartbroken. Because deep down, they remember the McGregor who fought with purpose. The one who talked wild but trained harder. The guy who could command an arena and back every word with blood, sweat, and knockouts. But there's one thing McGregor will never win back: true respect. Not the kind that comes with belt straps or viral highlights. We're talking about the deep, unshakable respect from real martial artists, from dreamers in gyms across the world who once saw him as a living blueprint of discipline, hustle, and heart. That kind of legacy isn't something you can buy back. It's not fixed by a knockout or another flashy Vegas fight. It's in the quiet moments, the way people used to speak about him. Just scroll through the old fight videos. You'll see it in the comments. I missed the 2015 Conor. He was a warrior once. That's not clout chasing. That's grief. Real, raw heartbreak from millions who didn't just cheer for him, they believed in him. And the bitter truth, McGregor didn't lose them just because of his screw-ups. He lost them because of how he handled them. Cold, arrogant, dismissive. When he should have humbled himself, he got louder. When silence would have spoken volumes, he doubled down on bravado. He mocked the very people who built his empire with their loyalty. So yeah, maybe he'll still sell out arenas. Maybe the money won't stop flowing. But that fire, that feeling he once gave the world, it's gone. Burned to the ground. Not by haters, not by rivals, but by him. And now all we're left with is a hollow echo of what once was the most electrifying man in MMA. If you made it this far, sound off in the comments. Do you think Conor can ever redeem himself? Make sure to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this.